Well, I do want to say, as we get into the next story, there's a young woman who I met. I actually saw a clip of hers on Instagram, and she's connected to a friend of mine who knew her story first. And so he had reposted it. And I was like, this is really incredible that Shannon Monet, who's, I think she was, I mean, you'll hear in the interview, very young when she started getting bullied. And also there was some racism coming against her. She became so depressed that she was about to commit and created a plan for suicide, but God intervened. What I want you to focus on as she shares her story with me is the fact that not only did God intervene, but God is raising up youth right now to be voices, not only to their generation, but to people much older than them. And I believe that God's raising up people who we've maybe looked at and given people awkward teenage years that they don't have responsibility or that they don't have a voice, but they're ready to be a significant contributor to what's going on in the world around them. And Shannon is just one of those people that I think God's raising up right now. So I'm going to encourage you, as you watch this interview, think about young people in your life who may be going through something right now. And today their struggle is like Shannon's, but maybe in the future, they're going to be a voice just like her. So let's play this interview. Well, here I am with Shannon Monet. And Shannon, you are a 16-year-old voice in our generation that's just sharing your story. And your story has some hardship to it, but it also has some real victory points in it. Kind of take us on the journey. Why did you decide to become a voice and share your story now? Because a lot of people, they want to walk out the victory that they have, but they don't want to share the process. And you've gone there, even through the short film that I saw, that was so powerful. How come you decide to be a voice?
Well, I was the only Black girl in my classroom, and because of that, I got bullied. And it was one time where I thought I made friends and actually didn't, and they ended up backstabbing me. So it was a lot of times where I had to face loneliness, trying to find different ways to fill that missing void inside my heart. So during those times when I was experiencing bullying, I used to go outside during recess, and I used to just walk with God and pray to him. I didn't care who was around me. I didn't care what anyone thought, because I was like, okay, God, you have my back. I'll lean on you, despite all the issues that I was facing. And but on the night of July 18th, it started to weigh on me, the depression. And I was 11 when I went to end my life. And I didn't even like what I looked like anymore because of what kids said to me, because of what they thought about me. It just didn't work out for me at all. So I got in my room during that time, and I was like, God, I'm tired of what I'm facing. I don't like who I am. Why'd you even create me? And you're not even real, because if you were real, why am I going through all this? Why are you letting me go through all this? And I was just crying and crying and crying, but I didn't tell any of my parents. I didn't tell anyone what I was going through. But as I was crying in my room, my mom ends up coming in, and I'm like, oh no. And she ends up praying for me, and she ends up hugging me and everything. And she starts prophesying over me, like God loves you and God calls you beautiful. And she said different things to me. And I knew it was nothing but God. And I'm like, okay, you're real. And I must be going through this for a reason. So after years of healing, I started to think, okay, maybe I should share my story. Maybe I should start helping people. But then at the same time, like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm too shy. But then God was like, you got to do it. Just go forth. So I did it. I released it, and I ended up helping a lot of teens. And it's been a long road.
We're in Mental Health Awareness Month. And what would you say to the average teenager or the average, young child who's experiencing like anxiety, depression, feeling like it's not worth living anymore? What would you say to them?
I would say you are loved and you are beautiful, and not to believe the thoughts that are coming to your mind, even though it could be convincing, like, okay, like, I'm not beautiful, I'm not this, I don't deserve to live, but you do. It's just a lie. Those are lies that are coming to your mind, and I suggest that you talk to someone that you can trust, talk to someone that you can depend on, because we need each other.
Yeah. How about if you're the parent or the grandparent and you can see that there's some signs of like, this person's getting battered, this person's getting like, they're overwhelmed, and you start to see it, what would you recommend they do? As
a parent, I suggest that you support them and that you love on them, because we need it. You pray over them. And also what I suggest is that you just reach out to them. And when you reach out to them, don't judge them, but like just listen, because we need you to listen to us. And then we'll feel more open to come to you and tell you everything that we're going through.
Oh, it's such a good answer. And I think that's one of the things that when there's a month like this where the whole society says, let's have a mental health awareness month, we're trying to learn and be, if you don't start with mental health and anxiety, fear, or deeper issues like suicide, then you still want to learn about it so that you can help people who do. And that's one of the big reasons why I wanted you on the show, is because just the fact that you were a child experiencing this, but then you turn that into like, I mean, your scars, you've like beat the enemy to death because you've made videos, you're on social media all the time, you're speaking in different places about what you went through. So tell me some of the fruit of what's happened since you've like really shared your story. Like, tell me what's made it worth it for you.
Well, since I shared my story, a lot of teens who struggled with suicide came out to me and said, like, your video helped me a lot. And I'm thinking, like, what if I didn't release the video? Would these people be touched? Like, so it's truly a blessing. And then it was one teen that God told me to talk to, and he was like, reach out to this person, ask them how you are doing. And they were like, I'm not doing good at all. How'd you know? And I was like, it was nothing but God. She was like, I was about to end my life. And I'm like, what? I was like, it was nothing but God, and he loves you. And she's like, you know what? I'm not gonna end my life. And she still talks to me now. So
Shannon,
he's amazing.
This is so awesome. Well, how do people get a hold of you?
They can reach me at shannonmonet.com or Shannon Monet _ on Instagram and TikTok, and also Shannon Monet on YouTube.
Shannon, thank you so much for sharing your story here just for a few minutes with us. And thanks for being the voice you are. And I believe you have a huge future, and I can't wait to maybe see you again on this show to follow up what's going on next. Thank
you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Are you kidding me? No, we were supposed to show that obviously last month in May, and she filmed that with me then, but something happened where we couldn't show it. But are you kidding me? Like, this is a young woman who is ending suicide amongst so many teenagers because she's willing to be a voice. And I just feel like God's raising up so many people who want to be a voice right now out of the place that the enemy tried to take them out, that they're going to get, man, that's such a huge reward in that area because they're going to go after it. They're going to be vulnerable. So thank you, Shannon, and thank you for everybody who's watching that. If you need her materials, make sure to go to her website, and she's available. She can probably speak to your youth group on Zoom, so that'd be exciting.